You have convinced yourself that your mind is faulty, that it should run smoother, faster, with less effort. Yet every day brings moments when thoughts crowd your awareness, when decisions feel heavier than they should, when the world's pace seems almost intolerable. You notice the repeated loops, the subtle tension behind each choice, the fatigue that comes without visible cause. This is not laziness or weakness. It is the unmistakable signature of a mind working differently, deeply, and continuously, processing more than you often realize. Even when everything appears calm on the surface, your mind constantly hums with activity, each decision branching into countless what-ifs, every choice sparking silent debates you can't switch off. Mental overload follows you through routine moments, turning simple tasks into repeated reassessments. Overthinking is not occasional, it shapes your perception, replaying scenarios and anticipating outcomes long after events pass. Choice paralysis creeps in quietly, making even minor decisions feel weighty, while decision fatigue accumulates unnoticed. Internal simulations layer over one another, creating a subtle, persistent tension. Emotional overwhelm may surface, but often it remains hidden, just beneath your awareness, adding weight to a mind already carrying more than it should. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign of weakness. It does not mark laziness or lack of discipline. Your mind expends effort simply by processing the immense volume of possibilities, assessing outcomes, and simulating interactions. Every internal debate, every revisited scenario requires cognitive energy that others rarely notice. When decisions feel draining, it is the result of a brain wired for depth, not dysfunction. Your mental fatigue is a natural consequence of high processing, not a personal shortcoming. Recognizing this distinction shifts the narrative. The weight you carry reflects your mind's capacity to engage deeply with the world, not a deficiency to be corrected or judged. Your mind operates through intricate layers of cognitive processing that most of the time remain invisible to you. Every decision, every choice triggers a network of internal simulations where your brain models potential outcomes, considers consequences, and weighs subtle nuances that might never reach your conscious awareness. This is not overreaction. It is slow but deep thinking, a deliberate scanning of possibilities before action. Mental load accumulates when multiple threads of thought run in parallel, creating the sensation of heaviness, crowding, or internal pressure. Cognitive research shows that this depth of processing naturally produces delayed clarity. The more thoroughly your mind evaluates, the longer it may take to reach certainty. Choice fatigue emerges when rapid external demands collide with internal deliberation. What feels like inefficiency is actually structured computation. Your brain is designed to absorb context, foresee consequences, and integrate complexity, which can make a fast-paced world feel overwhelming, but it is not a flaw. It is intentional processing, where internal rigor often outpaces external expectation, and mental strain is the visible sign of cognitive depth rather than failure. Imagine your mind as a highly detailed mapmaker in a dense forest. Each path represents a decision, each tree a potential outcome, and every shadow a subtle risk. You move slowly because you are charting not just the visible trails, but also hidden streams, small clearings, and the unseen connections between them. Others may walk quickly, ignoring minor details, reaching destinations with speed, but without the same awareness of complexity. Your sense of overload arises because your mind does not settle for surface-level observation. It simulates multiple possibilities, anticipates future shifts, and records subtle interactions. This metaphor clarifies that mental load is a measure of depth, not dysfunction. Being a meticulous mapmaker takes time and focus, and while the forest may feel overwhelming, each pause and careful consideration builds a precise understanding of your terrain, a clarity that others may never perceive. In this forest, your pace is not weakness, it is a sign of comprehensive internal processing, where the apparent slowness is the very mechanism of accurate, intentional navigation. Your mind operates through layered cognitive systems, each contributing to the sense of mental overload. The first layer is rapid perception, noting immediate stimuli, patterns, and anomalies. The second layer is internal simulation, where you replay scenarios, anticipate reactions, and examine multiple outcomes simultaneously. The third layer is integrative processing, where insights from prior experiences, learned knowledge, and subtle cues converge. Overthinking emerges when these layers interact intensely, especially under decision fatigue or choice overload. You are not slow by default. Your thinking is expansive and depth-oriented, weighing factors invisible to most. Cognitive load is amplified when multiple streams of input demand simultaneous attention, producing delayed clarity. Each mental pause, each careful consideration, is part of a structured framework designed to balance speed with precision, depth with adaptability. Understanding this model reframes your mental heaviness. It is the product of intricate cognitive architecture, not a flaw. You navigate complexity intentionally, processing more than most even notice, and what feels like stalling is actually thorough internal work, essential for accurate understanding. You feel your thinking as a flowing current, sometimes slow, sometimes heavy, and never idle. Each choice carries weight, each pause a moment of internal processing. It is not confusion, but deep cognitive work, integrating possibilities and connections others might miss. Your mind senses complexity before action, moving deliberately rather than impulsively. The heaviness you feel is not failure, but awareness, a reflection of mental capacity. Recognizing this allows observation without judgment, seeing your patterns clearly. Your mental rhythm, the pauses and hesitations, are part of a thoughtful pace. Understanding this, you realize depth of thought is not dysfunction, but the measure of your internal clarity and perceptive ability. The weight you feel is not a flaw, but the natural outcome of a mind that simulates, anticipates, and processes thoroughly. Overthinking is not brokenness, it is depth unfolding, a deliberate engagement with complexity. You are not slow or incapable, but expansive, allowing time for full understanding. Each moment of hesitation, each internal debate, is a sign that your brain navigates multiple layers simultaneously. Recognizing this reframes tension into clarity. Your mind space is aligned with thoughtful precision, not error. What once felt like overwhelm now appears as conscientious, measured processing, a subtle but profound strength of perception. There is no rush to fix your thinking. The mind that carries weight is also the mind that notices, reflects, and discerns. Each pause, each reconsideration, is part of an ongoing internal dialogue that deepens understanding. You can observe it without judgment, allowing the natural rhythm of your thoughts to unfold. The pressure you once felt eases when seen as part of a deliberate, layered process rather than a malfunction. Let your awareness extend gently, acknowledging the value in measured contemplation. This is the space where your mind works fully, quietly, and reliably, inviting reflection without urgency or expectation.